What's going on, Dogman Dan here? Okay, so let me share my thoughts here with the old Chains of Harrow that's coming next week. We'll talk about this Rell comic up here as well. So we're just going to be on this page. And a couple things to discuss as well in case most people don't realize that the data mining Reddit page was shut down. But DE was trying to be more open with the stuff. They had to shut it down because they data mined way too much information, way beyond what was ever needed to be data mined. And after all these years, they finally decided, hey, that's it. It's done. So they want to be a little more open, and we'll find that as we go through this page. The page at the time of this video is currently available, warframe.com/change-of-harrow. And then there's also a comic here that we'll go over. So let's just kind of look through this. I'll kind of share my thoughts. I mean, Harrow looks pretty cool. I am undecided on my thoughts on it as of yet. Harness the power of the void to bolster allies' defenses and amplify their lethality with Lotus's newest Warframe Harrow. Now, it's going to be interesting when you're looking at the abilities that it has. It's going to definitely be interesting to play. It's going to be a challenging frame. I mean, there's no doubt about it being, because you're going to have some pluses and minuses along with these powers that you're doing. And what I do like in regards to more recent frames is that there's more challenge to understanding them and using them. When they rebalance frames, sometimes people get very upset about the way they used to be. You know, this used to be so good this way, but now you change it and it's not. And it's the same thing. They try to make it a little bit more challenging in terms of you have to really decide what you want to do with it. So it'll be interesting as we're looking at this stuff here to see how it plays out on the Warframe itself. And of course, it's going to be a quest. So you've got your 4 different abilities. You've got Condemn, Penance, Thurbile, and or Thurible, however you want to call that, and Covenant. So Condemn is going to cast a wave of energy that chains them, chains the enemies where they have stand, and each enemy held reinforces Harrow's shields. I'm sorry, I just said that whole thing wrong, but so it's going to chain enemies and reinforce his shields. Penance is going to sacrifice shields to boost reload, fire rate, as well, while converting damage inflicted on enemies into health for Harrow and nearby allies. So it's kind of like a range mod, or not a range, a rage mod, if you will, built into Penance. It's kind of like its own built-in rage mod, if you will, converting the damage into health. And I kind of like that. That's going to really add a kick to a whole bunch of different things that you could do with the frame. Thurible, if I said that right, Harrow's energy into generating a buff. Once finished, it kills enemies to bestow nearby allies with bursts of energy. The more energy channeled, the greater the reward for each kill. Headshots produce extra energy as well. That's going to be an interesting one. I'm not really sure. It's kind of like depending upon how much energy people have. And I mean, people through the years, we've built up ways to be able to have constant energy pools. So I don't know how effective this one's going to be. Time will tell. Covenant. Protect nearby allies with an energy force that absorbs all damage and converts it to a critical chance bonus for all those under the Covenant. Headshots, of course, are amplified even further with this, which is pretty interesting how that's going to work out. But it's basically blocking all incoming damage. We can talk about Trinity and her old way of doing things, and this is kind of like your male enhanced version, I guess you could say. It's not exactly the same thing. It's not a direct heal, except with Penance, you do have, obviously, that direct heal. What am I saying? Never mind. Yeah, okay, so it could be like a male version of Trinity, only like buffier, I guess. I don't know how to even say it. The Chains of Harrow. The quest will appear in your codex for anyone that's completed the War Within and unlocked Mott in the Void. So you have to unlock Mott, that map in the Void, and the War Within has to be completed. So we'll see how that plays out. And the same thing's going to happen with this as it did with the last one. If you purchase Harrow, the reward for doing the quest will be a Riven mod. Okay, that was already stated by Rebecca, so that's there as well. We're going to see dual wielding, throwing melee weapons and secondary weapons, very much bringing back the whole idea of the original Dark Sector, as you can see right there. So it's going to be thrown melee weapons right now. So any of the glaive type of family, if you will be in there. Obviously, they'll probably move some things around. It's going to execute unique, quick melee combos, charge throws, dual wielding, adding damage. It's going to be fun. Now, that is what something I'm looking forward to. Can't wait to get my hands on the dual wield and see how this plays out. So that is almost more interesting to me than the frame right now, because everybody's going to be focusing on the frame. You're going to see a million videos regarding the frame, of course. The Earth Remaster is coming, so this should be nice. Experiencing the Earth Remastered tile set, the Grenier, amidst the luscious vegetation and envelope of Warframe and a naturalistic lighting, and a remastered soundscape. I don't really have the sound on, so I never hear too much anyway. But yeah, for those people that aren't like doing recordings and stuff, you probably get to hear all that good stuff in the background. But just kind of looking at it on the page, you can see the overhaul, the before, the after. The before looks like this. The after just looks, it's got more shadowing. It's a little bit, it's pretty cool. I like what it looks like here in terms of the imagery, but we'll see how it plays out in game and hope that it's optimized not to kill people's FPS along the way. We'll see how that goes, but I would think they've held out on it long enough that it shouldn't be an issue. The release of the Grenier Chem Strike Nox is going to be coming, as you can see. Nox wields a toxin-filled heavy gun that shoots blobs of toxic goo that attach themselves to targets before exploding. So kinda like, yeah, it should be fun. Kinda like a Torrid, only it attaches itself, but there is a mod to attach. Anyway, okay, take out these gruesome enemies by shooting their glass helmets and exposing their deteriorating skin. Beware of their final moments as they explode into a lethal cloud of toxic gas, probably. Yummy. So we'll see how that goes. It's not a new faction. It is at least a new enemy. Should be nice, nonetheless. Melee Riven mods are coming. And with the Melee Riven mods, they've changed the drop rate in the sorties from a 20% drop rate to a 25% drop rate. Well, okay. Still 75% chance you're not going to get one of these bad boys. Just saying. I've seen people already talking about it on the forums. Are they going to increase Riven capacity? Blah, blah, blah. No, the max cap is still at 60 and it's going to remain at 60. Rivens were not meant for you to collect every single one. You have to decide what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep, and that's part of the whole thing. Rivens are not mandatory in this game. They don't make or break the game. This is still a general PvE game. So if you have them, great. They make for a fun time. Sometimes I have a few that are really nice and that I thoroughly enjoy, but they're not going to make or break me. And I get them when I get them, when people trade them to me, or when I actually get one in a mission. If I decide to run a sortie, maybe someday, and that's fine with me. I'm not forcing myself into constantly trying to farm these damn things, because to me they're just for fun. They're not really worth anything beyond putting in your 16 billion forma just to put one into a setup. So now when we're talking about transparency, here we go. We're talking about the new Rell, which is the new pistol. It's a rapid fire pistol, critical damage, but it'll consume no ammo if you hit the headshots. Okay, so hit headshots, you don't consume ammo. That's pretty interesting. Now, in terms of transparency, they went ahead and posted the test balance stats. right here for everybody. Accuracy 32, critical chance 20%, multiplier 1.5, fire rate 4, magazine capacity 1. So that's going to be an interesting. It'll be constantly reloading. 1, status of 5, semi-auto, impact 63, puncture 69, slash damage 18. So impact, puncture heavy, definitely puncture heavy. Interesting weapon to work with. It's got a high accuracy. Wondering if you put stuff on it that can ruin that accuracy, how much it can really affect it, we don't really know yet. But thank you for that transparency in terms of putting this test balance stats. They may change those. Keep that in mind. That's why there's a little star there, but it's there. The Scourge. Blast targets with corrosive plasma projectiles. Toss a specter to inflict nearby enemies with an energy field that amplifies their brainwaves to attract bullets. So it's kind of a dually weapon, if you will, but it's your primary weapon. So, yeah, plasma projectiles, or you toss the specter. Interesting. And here we go. A charged one, accuracy is 100%. Critical chance is pretty much nil. Fire rate 2.67, 20 in the magazine. Noise alarming. Status chance, it's 30%, so you're definitely going to get 100% out of this. As it stands, corrosive damage base is 60. Again, test balance stats. But if you throw it, your accuracy is now 16.7. Your critical chance is up to 4%. Not really that big, but I don't know. It's really going to depend upon how you play it. Again, running through, your status is 30%. Impact damage 455. Puncture 72. Slash is 122. Corrosive damage here on the throw is at 50. So it's a heavy impact damage weapon. Interesting how that plays out. In terms of how you're going to play and set those up. We'll have to see once we have them in our hand. The Knave, Harrow's signature Sindana. That looks pretty sick. It'll be interesting. Look at that thing waves through there. It flows in there pretty well, so that's a nice little fashion, if you will. I like to see the colors as it goes on there. Yeah, so let's get over, and that's basically what they've got showing for you there. As you can see, they're not trying to hide anything. They're giving us the big stuff. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of other things changed coming through, but these are your big things to talk about, and this should be coming this week, Wednesday, Thursday, probably sometime in there, just in time to get yourself partying through the weekend and a week before TennoCon. So. Now let's get over here to the comic, which is pretty interesting. You see it over here. You actually have to click on it in the page if you want to. Of course, the Prime Volt is coming in one day. And we'll talk about that in a minute if you're still paying attention. So this is the Rell comic. As you can see, I'm just going to kind of click through this just so you can see it. And we can keep a record of it for when the page is no longer in existence. It's an interesting one. When I was going through it the first time, fires rage on the lower deck, and you could really come up with a lot of lore out of this in terms of how stuff is. Blood shimmers in the fitful light. Hunting parties roam the ship. But there is singing and laughter and play. For all the children have come together. All except Rell. This is where it gets interesting when you think about it, okay? So make your own assumptions. Rell, is that you? Don't be afraid. It's Mama. Mama's here. Mama? Yeah, that looks like Mama with the big freaking dagger in her hand, right? Yeah, about to kill him. Yep, sure. Not Mama anymore. Okay. Something else? Haven't figured it out yet. So he doesn't consider her the mother anymore, but he doesn't know what she is. Tries to kill her with a hand blast. Real mama trained me how to handle when it feels like too much. How to keep turning. So that's interesting. I'm screwing this up for everybody. You bent man? What the hell are you doing down this far? Let's get to the... Boom! Sorry. There's a big boom there in the background. That's... Shit, they're onto us. Let's go. What's wrong with you? Hey, it's okay. I understand. You're going to be all right. But we gotta run now. He looks disturbed that he is being pulled. And they're running. And he's blasting people now. And they're running down a hallway. And they're still running. Oof! Runs into somebody. Or somebody runs into him. Depends upon how you want to interpret that picture. He's not going in. What? I remember him from classes. He's weird. Can't risk it. Okay. So they didn't let Rell in. Touching is too much noise anyway. I have something to do. Something to figure out. Fin, as in finished. Curious what happens with this comic and how this plays out. So that's the comic. Hopefully I didn't screw it up for you guys too much. Anyway, do share your thoughts, comments, questions, things below. I'm pretty interested in this update coming. I got a pretty busy week myself anyway, but I'm definitely interested in seeing some of the stuff coming out with this one. But I wanted to share it with you guys and just kind of do a general talk and discuss it, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks. I'll catch you soon.